What's up, everybody? Emperor John Kill 3D Gaming here, and I've never thought that I would have to make this kind of video responding to one of my favorite content creators. But when I feel that maybe your opinion could be wrong, or there's no right or wrong opinion that's right. Our opinions are subjective to the beholder. That's fine, and that is true. But if it's something that really doesn't have a lot of weight to it, it's YouTube. And I do this more so out of my respect for the Actman as a fan, and we are all entitled to be criticized here or there. And Actman doesn't seem like the kind of guy that would get angry over being criticized. So, Actman, this is no hard feelings, but I do kind of have to make a response and probably explain this to you about what you said in your post. And I'm not here to change your mind. And I'm not here to change anyone's mind, but we all can have a level of understanding here. We're all gamers, and hell, most of us are Resident Evil fans, so probably we will be able to come to an understanding on this. And I know I have a smaller channel. He might not even notice it, and that's fine. No hard, no foul. I'm still going to watch you, Actman. I still, staying subscribed and everything. But when it comes to Resident Evil, you're barking up my territory, man. Anyway, it's about a tweet he made. And I saw this retweet. I didn't see the tweet itself. I just saw it retweeted from Fratanga, who I also follow. And it's about the character of Ashley Graham and Luis Serra. And the tweet from 5:14 a.m. on 3/26/23 almost beat the Resident Evil 4 remake, and as expected, the gameplay is magnificent. But by God, did they fuck up the story? It feels like they didn't understand why the story in the original worked so well. There are some bright spots, but the story is a massive downgrade. They somehow made Luis Serra the most likable character in the game, irritating and unlikable, so he had to correct that. I don't know how they did it, but of course, these are all just my worthless opinions. No, Actman, no opinion is worthless. Everybody can have their opinion. But, by my understanding, here's the thing. Let me explain this to you. You seem to be the minority in this, because everybody universally agrees that Luis Serra here and Ashley Graham are better here than they were in the original. They are massive improvements. Why? Because think about it. Look at the time Resident Evil 4 came out back then. You can get away with how you represented those characters and the lack of origin or characterization behind them. Because, let's be real, you go back and play the original game, and I've beaten the original game a multitude of times, did it recently before the remake even came out. And there is no clear-cut background to Luis. And in fact, there is no really reason why we like him other than he's cool. He's got the suave Spanish accent. And he helped us out in the middle of the village thing. And, the cabin sequence where we're all barricaded inside that little house level. But that's really it. And then he dies unceremoniously. At least here, they gave him a form of a background. They tried to at least give him character, give him even more of a personality, which they did. And I feel that here, Luis is presented better. It's interesting that he was an umbrella soldier. There's parts of the story that I don't understand why Actman says they downgraded the story. In fact, they didn't. There are areas of the game that are in fact given more context to them and presented more digestible than just the way we were given before. And at first, I'm not going to lie, in a way, I would have agreed with Actman the first time. Why? Because the first time around, I felt that notion. But then when I played the game a couple more times and brought in my thoughts and opened up more, Luis Serra is not represented poorly. In fact, here, he is much better than his original in many aspects. I think maybe what Actman could have wanted, and probably it would have been a good idea, maybe you could have gotten a scenario to make up for the lack of why we don't have the Ada missions, which we all know is coming as DLC, and with the mercenary mode just coming out, Luis Serra's playable in that. But what I'm saying is, I think it would have been better if they gave us like a little side campaign with him. And then probably our minds would have shifted to be like, okay, Luis is even more better. But if not, the way he's presented here, is as accurate to his original portrayal as possible, believe it or not. And I played the game like 4 or 5 times, New Game Plus, and analyzed those scenes correctly. And that's actually pretty factual there, that Luis here is better than he is in the original. And a lot of the fans believe so, and a lot of anybody who's reviewed this game and saw it actually believes that, and that's the truth. You know, Actman, you can have your opinion. That's great about it. That's the thing. That's the beauty. We can all have our opinions, and our opinions can be challenged. And now when it comes to Ashley Graham is a massive improvement. She's not a screaming, whiny little annoying bitch that gets in the way all the time. You know, here, she actually does things for herself. Her gameplay section, which was abysmal. Yes, in the original game, her gameplay section is abysmal. It can be, I mean, you can do it without a problem, but it's abysmal. Here, it's more tense. She can actually defend herself to a degree with this lantern that freezes enemies. Her dialogue is a lot better. And she doesn't just do stupid shit like running away multiple times. At least here, I believe she only ran away from you once, but you quickly get acquainted picking her back, getting her back. You know, in my honest opinion, before the game came out, I kind of wish that they would have always created sections so you don't have to play as Ashley. But after playing it, I'm like, okay, you know what? It's fine. I like it the way it is. It works. But, Actman, if you can add further context on why you think this was bad, like, I don't know if you made a video recently. I haven't checked your channel, and I haven't been getting subscribe notifications from you, so probably it's YouTube's BS algorithm, whatever, again. But it would have helped if you probably would have made a video explaining more why that this bothered you the way it did, or why you didn't like it the way you did. But, a tweet doesn't accurately represent your thoughts. And that is that's a common thing, and everybody should know that, you can't tell what someone's thinking or feeling just through a tweet or the root of why they're doing it or have this opinion. But with Ashley Graham and Louise Sarah, they are universally improved compared to their originals. And Resident Evil here, like the story is here, the story is even better than the original. The original, you know what I gotta say? Look, I love Resident Evil, but Resident Evil 4 is not a good Resident Evil game. It's a good action, adventure style with horror elements. This is much closer to what Resident Evil 4 should have been the first time. This game. The way the story is presented, the way the horror is presented, it doesn't feel like we can dominate the game or that the story left anything important out. Because even in the original, if that's the case, if we were going to pull that the story was bad, in the original, there were just moments that needed a lot of context and explanations, and we never got those. At least this game does a mixture of showing and not telling, or telling and not showing, or allowing our imaginations to put the pieces together until the story or something happens that lets us know, oh shit, we were right about this, or damn, we were off the mark. There's a reason why this game, lightning was struck twice in a bottle, and it shocked the Resident Evil community, and it shocks gamers. How do you strike lightning? I mean, come on. They did it with Resident Evil 2 Remake. That was basically, come on, Resident Evil 2 back in the day, lightning in a bottle. Resident Evil 2 Remake, lightning in a bottle. Resident Evil 4, great for the time. Always replay. It's replayable today. It still holds up. Resident Evil 4 Remake, excellent for now, like for right here, for what it did. Capcom has been on this streak, Actman, with trying to make these games, I believe, the way they were always intended to be made. Because, come on, you yourself as a fan would not want them to go back to the super all-hardcore action. The only reason that it probably works here in Resident Evil 4 Remake, because at first, when you play like the first 2 times, you're still intimidated and you're nervous thinking that, oh, I'm not going to be able to run and gun and do this. But then, when you play it and you get into the groove, then this game does start to feel like original Resident Evil 4 the way we remember it. Believe it or not, in my review, I put it at the beginning. I'm saying, the way we remembered Resident Evil 4, the original, when we were kids, this is the way we saw it. The way the remake is, that's how we saw the game. But now that we go back and we're older, we're like, what we remember versus what we got. But both games are perfection in their own right. Perfect in their own right for what they tried to do. Don't get me wrong. It has its issues, but the characters in this game was not one of them. Especially, I might have to do an individual video talking about the Ada situation, because even that's also overblown. The Ada situation, just I feel it's just a bunch of horny people that didn't get their sexy Asian Ada back, but they didn't say nothing about her performance in 2 Remake when it's the same performance here. So if that's one thing, it's consistent. So that's really all I gotta say about it. I didn't want to make the video ultra long or go through a list of things. It was more so that I hope that maybe Actman is more open-minded to thinking, okay, I might not personally like it, but I can understand why people believe and understand and present why the game is an improvement in both its characters, how the story was presented, and yeah, that's really it. That's all. This is something I don't want to stretch out and length out. So, Actman, I made this video out of respect, man. So, this is Emperor John Kill 3D Gaming. Be sure to like, subscribe, favorite. Catch me in the next video or in the next stream, and also check out my second channel. See you later.